Part 2 of everybody knows about this secret program, the Slow Kill Revenge for Hire program. So my friend Sue Ann came over that evening and she wanted to look at my photos. So she scrolls from photo to photo. This is of my deadbolt, my door being broken into, the door jamb being crushed, and etc. etc. She's looking at everything. I'm looking at her, examining them. And you could tell she knows. She knew exactly what was going on. And after viewing the photos, with this dead face, she turned to me and she said, "So who did you piss off?" I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "Who'd you piss off?" I said, "What are you talking about?" And then she changed the subject. So she knew what was going on. She knew from my zip code. She looked into some database to see that my name was on some list, viewed my photos, and she knew that that was a professional job. You can see that it was a professional job. She knew exactly who did it, and she said, who did you piss off?" Here I am, the victim of home break-ins, thefts, pet harm, and I'm being accused of pissing someone off? Okay, folks, let's see if I'm getting this right. At that point, I was a 60-year-old woman. Do you think in 60 years, 60, that you never piss anybody off in your lifetime? There are sick people out there if you disagree with them. These narcissists, they take revenge on you for disagreeing with them. And you all know that, folks. I mean, this is why some of you are in the program. You disagreed with somebody. Maybe you wrote a complaint. Maybe you filed a complaint about your rights in something. Maybe you filed for a divorce. And some attorney decided to get even with you. And you know, divorce lawyers, they're the only ones that know your balance sheet. There isn't any other attorney out that asks you for your profit and loss statement. Only divorce lawyers to calculate child support and alimony and stuff. So you've got to watch out for these divorce lawyers. But I digress. So the point is that my old friend, Sue Ann, was in the know. She knew what was going on and immediately took the stance of, who did I piss off? She knew I was in some kind of program. And then from that point forward, she became very distant. In fact, I called her and asked her for a copy of the receipt when we ate out dinner, because the police had fabricated the time that I came and went that night. And I was out to dinner with Sue Ann, and I didn't get home until after 8 p.m., and they wrote that I came home at 5 p.m. This is all can be proven, folks. So Sue Ann said she didn't have the receipt. Now, this is bull BS. Sue Ann was a type of a woman. We'd go out to dinner, right? And she always wanted to put it on her credit card so she could get points. So I would pay her the cash. She would put it on her credit card. And of course, she'd always have a credit card receipt. In addition to having a credit card receipt, you get the receipt from the restaurant, the bill. She claimed she didn't have any of that and couldn't get it, which is so not true. This is a woman who saved everything. She was very detail-oriented, but she refused to give me a copy of the receipt, which had the date and time stamped on it, to prove that I left that restaurant after 8 p.m. And this is somebody I had known for years. We went kayaking together, concerts. She taught me a class on runes, RUNES. And we'd hang out and watch movies and play games and barbecues and stuff like that. So this is how quickly an alleged friend, can turn who is in the know. And obviously, with having a retired police officer as a father, military folks as brothers, and being a volunteer firefighter, as well as being a certified death investigator who investigates crime scenes, she knew exactly what was going on. And she kept to keep that information to herself and only project onto me, who did you piss off? Well, folks, if everybody in this country that pissed somebody off gets placed on a slow kill list, what does that say about this country? And for anybody who says that the program doesn't exist, they're just plain lying. Every police officer, police department, sheriff's department, state department, county attorney, they're all in it. They're all in the know on their secret, paid for hire side hustle, because they're all getting paid under the table, folks. And for the targeted people out there, you already know this. But for the newcomers who might not know about the program, you're trying to understand what's happening to you, it is real. In 2016, the ACLU's Trapped in a Black Box Growing Terrorism Watch Listing in Everyday Policing PDF that you can locate online through a FOIA request of the FBI. In 2016, there were 900,000 people placed on various watch lists. And once you get on, you don't get off. They move you from list to list with no vetting. These are secret FISA warrants to be asset stripped, tormented, broken into. They get payoff community watch groups, InfraGard, fusion centers. The tentacles are everywhere. Your sheriff's department, your county lawyer, your community watch groups, your community sheeple, your neighbors, and they'll go after your friends and family and lie. I had a friend, very long-term friend. He was an astrologer friend of mine. He was also a massage therapist. He lived in California. And he's a gay guy. Just in case anybody wants to know, he's a gay guy. So we weren't having any kind of a relationship. We had been friends for years and years, probably a dozen years. And I would consider him a best friend. Because he did live in New York City at one time and then moved to California. And then suddenly, he stopped all communication with me. And every time I would call him, he would get angry at me and start projecting all this stuff that I was this and I was that and I was this. And it's like, where is this coming from? Here I was in graduate school at the time. My life was extremely busy, and we're talking about a 3-hour time difference, right? My daughter is in college. I'm driving back and forth because she's not allowed to have her car for 2 years at the university. So I had to drive back and forth to take her home or do whatever for her. And he starts accusing me of things. So I let time go by. I call him again. Every time I called, he would hang up on me. So, and then years later, I called, and he hung up on me again. So I guarantee these losers went behind my back and contacted my friend Bill. I'll say his name is Bill. I won't tell you his last name. But for anybody that knows me, I had a long-term friend named Bill who was an astrologer and a massage therapist who lived in New York City and moved to California. And he's a gay guy. That gives you enough information. But yeah, so I would like to know who contacted my friend Bill? I'd also like to know who contacted my friend Robert, who's now deceased. And the same thing happened with him, where suddenly he actually accused me of having an affair. And I'm thinking, damn, I mean, one, you live in another state. We're not in a relationship. We've never been in a relationship. We're just friends. And he starts accusing me of like having a boyfriend, not an affair, I'm sorry, a boyfriend. And it's like, if I had a boyfriend, I would tell you about it. But he started, again, accusing me of stuff. And this is how the program works. You'll have people contacting them, emailing them, and telling them slanderous lies to get your friends to turn against you. I will tell you folks that my mother says that she was never contacted. My mother was the one who hired a security consultant to comb my apartment. My mother also paid for a private detective. My mother came over my house and asked me when we were talking about the program. She says, "Oh, you mean like a Manchurian candidate?" My mother was in the know, and because she was in the know and helped me, they murdered her last year. They gave her a seizure in her sleep. They were in her house vandalizing and stealing her belongings. They blinded her cat. And then she was killed at the hospital. She was perfectly healthy. Secret program, folks? I think not. You need to spread the word about this secret cop program. And I'm not just saying the cops program. I call them the criminals on patrol. The one by the Department of Justice that doles out millions of dollars to community watch groups. I'm talking about the cops and the sheriffs that have sold their soul. They sold out the Constitution for a quick buck. And the good ones left. They left the force, and now they're living off the grid because they know what's coming. They don't want to be part of it. Because those are the God's children, not these creepos around here that have sold their soul for a gift card. And yes, folks, I wanted to mention that my neighbor's teenage son, when I was at my my mailbox, they drove by, and this teenage son in the passenger seat sticks his finger up at me out the car window. I'm telling you, folks, first of all, my daughter would never do something like that. So what do you think is going to happen to these parents when they get old? Do you think their kids are going to take care of them because they taught them how to treat elder people? And I guess at this point, at 64 years old, you can consider me to be an elder person. Although I don't feel like it. But yes, this is how they train their children to be perpetrators. This is how they train their children to disrespect their elders. And yes, I would like to see my neighbor, how they're going to be treated in their elder years by their piece of shit son, who has the audacity to stick its middle finger up at me while I'm retrieving mail at my mailbox. But this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. I hope everybody's having a good night. And I deleted a couple of things off my phone to make sure that this did not cut off in the middle. I apologize for part 1 and 2, but I will post this online. And welcome to the newcomers. And thank you so much for all the people. There were 3 people this week that donated cat food through my Chewy.com wish list. Here you go, folks. This is Chewy.com. Chewy gives back. Freya's Cat Rescue is my 501c3 nonprofit cat rescue since 2012. And I have my wish list here, which is food and stuff, supplies for the cats. And I apologize how expensive everything's become, but that's what's happened, folks. A bag of cat food that I used to pay like $18 for is now $28 and $30 for one bag of cat food. A case of canned food, pate, that I used to pay like $9.99 for is now $18.99. So I so appreciate the people that donated some cat food because the chickens steal it too. But anyway, I hope everybody's having a good night. Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading, signing off for now.